Hello and welcome to episode 277 of the Casual Try Hard podcast. I'm
And I'm
Brian,
James.
and this week we're going to talk about how Wizards really nailed a design for an entire set,
Nailed it.
and then banned, and then banned that entire all those designs.
Well, I mean, it's the band hammer, right? That's what you do. You nail things.
It is the ban hammer. Oh, yeah, it got hammered big time. This might be the largest single ban in history.
I'm pretty sure it is.
Yeah, in one fell swoop.
Well,
so we're going to talk about that. I guess two. We're going to talk about that and then maybe reminisce about GP times gone by if we have time.
Yeah, we'll see. We had a kind of a GP topic lined up for last week that we didn't get to. I'm not sure if we're going to get to today either. I think there's a little bit more in this BNR than meets the eye. So, but we'll talk about it. We'll see how far we get.
So, if you've got show ideas, things you want us to talk about, please let us know. Get at us on Facebook, Discord, X, email. All those things are in the description below. So check it out. And let us know what you want us to talk about.
Absolutely. Hit us up with topic ideas. I think we should. When do Modern Horizons spoilers start? Next week or the week after?
Soon. And so the set comes out June 14th. Yeah. So it should be pretty soon.
We should at least have a mechanics article or something. So that'll be coming up. But yeah, if there's anything else in the meantime, I'm sure there'll be a couple weeks where we don't have much for you. Let us know what you want us to discuss, and we will discuss. It'll be disgusting.
Very disgusting.
If you guys are looking to support the show, there's a couple ways you can do it. The first is with our TCG player affiliate link, CasualTryHard.com/TCG. Surf on over there, do all your TCG related shopping, whether it's Magic or whatever other card game you're looking for, and use our link. And you'll help support the show at the same time. It doesn't cost you guys anything extra and really helps us out. If you're looking to support us more directly, patreon.com/CasualTryHardMTG is where you can do that. Chip a couple bucks in, help support the show. You get access to our pre-show, you get access to our show notes, and you get to feel good inside for supporting the show that you listen to every week.
Yes. All right, so we are going to talk about the ban restricted announcement from Monday, 13th. And kind of the headliner is that in Legacy, Vintage, and Pauper, which I hadn't seen the Pauper part of it, like I just jumped to Legacy and Vintage. They have decided that they are going to ban all of the attractions and all of the sticker cards from Unfinity from those formats. Now, if you remember, Unfinity was their first crack at taking an unset and making it black bordered.
Yeah, so they had like acorn symbols on some of the cards, which meant that they were only legal for like non-sanctioned play or whatever.
Yeah, they weren't legal in Legacy, Vintage, and Pauper. Right? They weren't technically legal in Commander. Right. They were only like those. Yeah, those were the like unsanctioned, not legal. Basically, treat them like you treated all silver bordered cards. And then you have these other cards. Hey, these are gonna be legal in these formats. So, now we had speculated they were doing this because like you can't release a set
and then tell players
and then
they can't play with it.
Yeah, like hey, like this is like a go in, do a draft, never think about these cards again, because like I know in like all of my stuff I've been going through as of late, I've just got like I probably got like 30 like unset cards that like I'm just like I don't know what I'm going to do with you, and they just stay in the box.
Some of that stuff
Right, like,
is worth money. You might want to.
yeah, okay, I'll have to look.
I'm not sure, like unstable forward, but some of the older stuff is actually.
I have some of the older stuff. Yeah,
is actually worth something.
Okay, but like that's basically been the extent of my thought about it. It's just like, oh, I guess I have these. I don't know what I can do with these.
I got this great idea. Let's make a whole draft where everything is chaff.
Yeah, exactly. Great format.
You're going to leave your entire draft on the table when you're done, and nobody's going to pick it up until it gets swept into the dumpster.
Into the dustbin at the end of the night, yeah. So like they were trying, I think, to like increase the value proposition for like not even so much like this pack you spent $4 on it and you could maybe get a $10 card. More just
so
like
the cards had some utility when you were done drafting with them.
Exactly. And so they did that. Now, like, I don't know, half the cards that they wanted you to like have utility in your other formats are gone. Now, their argument was about Commander, right?
Yeah.
Like the whole reason they did this.
Yeah, that's what they said. Is they needed they wanted a way so that Commander players could play with the cards, and they doesn't make much sense to me. But for whatever reason, they said that they can't print cards directly into Commander. No, I don't. Like Commander is number one, not sanctioned by Wizards, so I don't think they can, just arbitrarily make decisions as to like what is and what is not going to be put into the set. But also, like, why couldn't you just say Commander cards are for Commander? Like,
I mean, I think the problem is
these are not like eternal playable.
You could, but like that goes. I mean, not that it stopped them before, but that kind of goes against what Legacy has been, right? Legacy and Vintage are all the cards that have ever been printed in Magic, except for a ban list.
Well, right, and silver border cards.
And silver border cards.
So why couldn't you just make a product that's like a gray border? These are not eternal legal. Like they're legal everywhere that's not eternal playable. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. PK did a video today about like, we can't just print cards directly into Commander. And he's like, you did it just now.
Yeah.
Right? They could have printed everything the exact same way. Yeah. And then when the set came out, banned all of the sticker and attraction cards in Vintage, Legacy, and Pauper.
Well, yeah, the only thing that's
it would have done effectively the same thing.
The only thing that's different is the optics.
Yes.
Like this is just like a less heavy-handed way of doing it, where you like sneakily stole from your customers instead of were upfront with them.
Did it directly from the jump. Yeah, you like had people like put the money, outlay the money,
right.
And then after the fact, you were like, "Hey, about that."
Yeah, I mean that. Like honestly, that was the only reason that we covered the Infinity set was that the cards were going to be eternal playable. Otherwise, like silver border sets aren't the thing that we would normally talk about.
Yeah, I think that this still leaves the dog.
It does, and Saw in Half still pops up once in a while.
Okay, but like now everything else is just And what sucks is I had bought a rather large collection of attractions.
Oh yeah, I forgot all about that.
That I just took out of the box. They were shipped to me like a year and a half ago and put them in with my stuff. And then like 2 days later, I was like, oh yeah, I have all these. And then 2 days later, they're like, these have no use anywhere except for Commander. And I was like, well, wonderful. Hopefully there's like some sick attractions Commander that like blows up and I can get off of these things. But no, it was, I don't know, it's like really bad that you like build this set as like, hey, we are going to like make these cards eternal playable, and this then just kind of go like, whoopsie, we changed our mind.
Right.
And like, other than Sticker Goblin or Blank Goblin or whatever, there were it wasn't like it wasn't for a power level reason.
Yeah.
It was more kind of like tournament logistics.
Well, yeah, and I think in the article they mentioned that they thought about, instead of taking this approach, they thought about quote banning side decks. Anything that required a side deck, they weren't going to allow for tournament play.
Okay, but does that effectively do the same thing?
It does. There
Like,
was
is
a
that the
reason
same
that they
ban?
said they didn't want to do that. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Doo-doo-doo. Yeah, I don't.
So
I don't
I
see
was
it now.
getting. I remember reading. I was getting to the like the fact that like. So remember when snow was everywhere in Legacy, and like you were giving up equity
Yeah.
if you didn't have snow basics in your deck,
Absolutely.
right? Part of the reason they wanted to ban these was that people felt like they were giving up equity
By not
for
presenting a sticker deck. Well, I mean, you 100% are. And I think we had talked about that when we covered Infinity as well, is that if you're playing any deck in Legacy, it's to your advantage to present a sticker deck and an attraction deck, regardless of the meta. And especially if some of those cards are seeing play in the meta, you're not just not losing percentage points, but you're gaining them because there's a potential that you're going to trick somebody. Right? Because there's a difference between flat out telling somebody you're not playing Sticker Goblin and telling them that you might be playing Sticker Goblin, right? So there's percentage points that you're going to lose by not showing up with the deck, but you're also going to gain points because you may trick your opponent.
Yeah, and they use like the example of like Phyrexian Metamorph, like I have to bring my own sticker sheet in case like I copy my opponent's goblin, because then I have to be able to give my Phyrexian Metamorph a sticker name. So here, the part about why we didn't ban side decks was it'd be difficult to align with how that functions between Gatherer, Digital, and Tabletop. So like I'm assuming it would be a situation where if they banned side decks, name Sticker Goblin would be legal. Or Blank Goblin would be legal.
Because you could technically,
but you would not be able to put
it without stickers.
But you couldn't put a sticker on it. So then you could look at Gatherer and it would say Blank Goblin Legacy legal.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Right? And then you wouldn't think this isn't what they said, but I would assume that then the fear would be you wouldn't think that they left the card legal. Yeah. But yeah, they did not. But the mechanic that makes your card have text, right? Because like you're not going to just play like a Grey Ogre, or is it?
It's a Grey Ogre.
It's 3 mana 2/2 Grey. Yeah, you would just play a Grey Ogre in Legacy, but that's effectively what it would be. So like the card's still Legacy playable,
right?
Air quotes, but
I guess that makes sense.
It's not, right? Because like could you like on Gather it would say like Blank Goblin Legacy. Green box for legal, and then like would you then go like search for like the guacamole hat dinosaur sticker sheet to see if it's Legacy legal? So like I understand that though it would do the same thing, right? It would like probably lead to way more DQs and basic lands being put into decks than needed to be.
Yeah, for sure. Now we've mentioned
so like I understand that
Sticker Goblin quite a few times now. Obviously that's the reason for this ban, is because I think in the article they mentioned that they purposely tried to power down these sorts of cards, the attractions cards and the sticker cards, so that they wouldn't be eternal playable. But
that seems like just such a crappy way to like
I know,
design.
right?
To be like, we're gonna make these cards. Yes, they're legal in these formats, but we're gonna try to make sure that they can't be played, that they're not good enough for these formats. And it's like, well, then don't make them legal in the format. Like they could have just slapped acorns on all of these from the jump.
Well, I mean, how'd that work out for Nexus of Fate? Right, that was supposed to be
exactly.
just for Commander.
Yeah, and think about the number of cards that we've looked at and thought like, oh, this is a Commander card, and then like the Great Henge, Golos, probably some of the ultimatums. Like, oh, this is probably a Commander card. It's like, oh no, I'm getting like, it's turn 5 and I'm losing the game to the Sultai ultimatum. Kenrith, yeah. That was another one. They were like, this is a Commander card. And it's like, well, no.
Kenrith was box topper too, right? Just like Nexus of Fate.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't even like in set proper.
No, they had to go back and print it in a non-foil version. But yeah, like it was really crappy that they were trying to like skirt. Like, these are legal, but we're gonna like ban them by making them not good enough.
Well, I mean, what's the point of even printing them then?
Exactly.
Like, if you're going to make them weak enough that people aren't going to play with them, then like why even bother?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, I can't think of a reason. If you purposely have to power down the cards so people won't play with them, like design different cards. Like your mechanic isn't good if you're purposely trying to make people not play with it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, like just because, like, if you feel that uncomfortable with the mechanic that you're like, we don't want this to show up anywhere,
then don't do it.
And yeah, and like, why are you designing cards that are too weak for Legacy, but you think they're good for Commander?
I mean, why would they be good for Commander if they're not good enough for Pauper?
Well, that's what I mean, right? Yeah, that's what I mean, right? Like, oh, hey, this isn't good enough for Legacy, but in the 4-player format that like they play like Mana Crypt, this is Mana Crypt and Soul Ring. This will fit right in, and like, you know, I guess that goes like, whoa, it's a casual format, and what if someone wanted to like play an attraction? Then they'll play it anyway.
Like, that's what I don't understand. And I don't know if I don't have like the correct mindset for an average Commander player or whatever, but like Commander is it's supposed to be for fun. Like you play it casually with your friends while you're having a beer or whatever, or you sit down for a couple pods on Commander night. Like the fact that you want to run stickers or like insert any other mechanic here, like it's for fun. I don't like, understand. It's not a like a, I don't want to say real format or sanctioned format, because I think at this point in its life cycle it is both of those things. But it, like, there's no stakes. You're not playing in a tournament. Do whatever you want.
Yeah. Like in I think Morrow in the PK video, he brought up that Morrow was like, you know, we didn't want to have people have to have like the rule 0 conversation, you know. And PK brought up like, you know, it is nice to like have a deck that you know is legal, that if you show up someplace, you can like know that you can play it or whatever.
Well, sure, but if you want to play it's not like you're gonna splash a card with an attraction in your 100-card deck, right? Like if you're going to play an attraction deck, I can't imagine
you're all in, baby.
Well, and I can't imagine that deck costs anything to put together. Like, bring another deck. Like, if budget's your concern and the attractions are basically worthless, like...
Yeah. Like, I understand the, like, I really like my attractions deck, and I want to go play it at, like, a Magic Fest. Oh, I can't because attractions were acorned. Well, like, A, bring a second deck, and B, just be like, hey, can I play my attractions deck? And if they say no, have a backup deck. And hopefully the people you play with Commander with normally are like, yeah, we don't care if you play your like terrible Commander deck, first person to die. Like, it's fine.
So that's like a whole nother topic though, right? Is that there's this, mass of unwashed hordes that like never enter a game store, right? But still play Magic. And evidently they all play Commander as well. Like, those people aren't going to be the ones that are like cycling through pods at FNM or at a Magic Fest or whatever. They're going to be sitting down with 3 or 4 of their closest friends having a beer like around the kitchen table once a week. And like, I'm assuming these people instead of just sitting at your kitchen table with strangers. Like, you should know whether they're going to be okay with something like that or not.
Yeah, like, hey, like, I have this cool attractions deck I want to play. I don't care. Right? Like, and like, I understand that could be like awkward maybe if you're with like new people. But again, like you said, it's supposed to be for fun. Well, we've talked about this before that like, I don't get like I understand that CDH is a thing. We're here to win. We've all like sat down with the idea that we're all going to win. And but then we have like regular Commander, and I don't understand the like incentive structure of like simultaneously, this is supposed to be fun and we're all supposed to get to do like our big dumb thing, but also I have to have like the absolute best card in every slot. And it's like, well, pick one. Right, you're either here to like goof off and like have fun,
or you're here to pub stomp,
or but like you don't get to be like, oh, this is fun, but you like countered my thing, or like, oh my gosh, I have the 3 mana version of this effect and not the 2 mana version of this effect. My life is over, right? Like, oh no, like I don't understand that difference. Like, like when we played PDH, where I was like, oops, only pants, right?
Yep.
Like, whatever, right? Like, I wasn't like super trying to win. Like, I got a good deck name, and I was like, we're doing it. Yep. But like to be like, oh no, I have to have like the best in slot. It's like, why? Like, that is not what you're here for. Presumably, you're presumably here for like
goof off, have a good time.
Goof off, have a good time. You're here for something else, good sir. So yeah, like I understand where Wizards wanted to like remove the like awkwardness of like, I like concession stands. Can I play with my concession stands? My favorite video game is Roller Coaster Tycoon. Can I play Roller Coaster Tycoon but the Commander deck? And then being like, this person probably isn't good with talking to people. So we should like not make them have to talk to people.
I mean, I guess like, that's the thing as well, is I think the generation or the time frame of like us as your typical Magic player is long gone, and maybe the typical Magic player is, no offense to listeners, maybe the typical Magic player now is a little more awkward socially.
And I was pretty awkward when I first went into the game store. So like, yeah, like I am fine with them doing this. Like, I have no, like, it affects literally one card. Right? It affects one card that, like, they could, like, Adventures in Forgotten Realms, they could just make it Name Sticker Goblin from Magic Online, where they just, like, roll a die for how much mana you get. They could, like,
oh, that's interesting. Like, they didn't even breach that in the article, did they? That it works different on Moto than it does in paper.
Because Moto couldn't make stickers work.
They didn't mention that even once though.
No. So like I
would have thought that would have been a reason for a banning above some of these other reasons
like,
they gave.
You can't do it. So Name Sticker Goblin is Oh, they roll like a d20. So it's 1 through 6 you get 4 mana, 7 through 14 you get 5, and 5 through 20 you get 15 through 20 you get 6 mana. So like it's interesting like how they chose to break it up because like it's always a ritual.
Right.
Like I guess I don't know what the stickers were on them. Like Goblin is worth I guess it's always break even with stickers because like it's Goblin.
Whatever word that precedes it is going to have at least one vowel in it, or it's not a word. So
exactly. So it's at least break even. Like they could set it up in such a way that like it's 1 and 2 give you 3 mana, 3 and 4 give you 4, 5 and 6 give you 5 or something, or just like name sticker Goblin it, like the exact same card. It's like they could like. It sucks because like they did just like ban like goblins out of Legacy, or like kind of the current best version of goblins, which was just Turbo Muxes, which we've played against before on Arena. But like they could have done something. I mean, they could, in Modern Horizons have Mind Goblin, and it just be a name sticker Goblin. And then that fixes the problem.
I mean,
and Goblin
honestly,
to be a deck.
That wouldn't surprise me if they did something like that, where it was just like Burning Tree Emissary, but a Goblin, where it just gave you cost 3, was a 2/2, and gave you 3 mana.
Yeah, I guess like it costs 3 and gave you 4 or whatever. So it is a ritual or whatever. Yeah, like fine, whatever. We'll live. But yeah, so. It does. This reminds me. I remember there was that like stretch where they would like print a card, or at least it seemed like they would print a card in like Modern Masters, and then like a month later ban it,
like a Splinter Twin.
Exactly. Like one of the chase rares was Splinter Twin, and then a month later they were like, well, or like 3 months later, well, in the name of competitive diversity, you're gone. And it's like, why did you reprint it?
Right.
Why did you give it to me? Just take it away. So this was a longer time frame. Like I guess I don't know. I don't remember when this set came out.
Yeah, I'm not sure either.
So yeah, I do not know.
I would guess within the last 18 months or so.
Yeah. Type Unfinity, and the first thing that comes up is Unfinity Goblin. That's what auto. Oh. 2 years ago. No. So no, sorry. You're right. 18 months ago. So it released October 7th, 2022. It was supposed to come out April 1st, but we got supply chained. So yeah, like 18 months, and like the name sticker Goblin thing has only been a card for like the last 6 months.
Yeah, it might be a little bit longer than that, but definitely has not been a thing the whole time.
Yeah, like I think one of the legacy issues is like you don't know how good things are until they make it to Moto.
Because paper legacy events are hen's teeth.
Yes, and so I think like when they did the name sticker Goblin fix, you started to see the card be good. And so then you run into all the other problems we're talking about. Okay.
The good news with all of this is that they said that they've learned from their mistake and they're not going to do anything like this anytime soon.
This is good. Like I have a feeling that Papa Rosewater probably doesn't have enough sway in the current corporate structure of Hasbro to get another unset made. Right? Because like this seemed like a, hey man, I want to do an unset. And they were like, well, they don't sell very well. We'll make them black bordered.
And put
And they were
shocklands
like-
in them.
And they were like, okay, fine. And then
Didn't sell.
they did this, it didn't sell, and then the black border thing, they had to ban all of them because like I think this kind of like doubles the legacy ban list.
I mean, it might. Was it 56
Um,
cards?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think today was 56 cards.
Yes. Okay, so the. So. Okay. That's vintage. Restricted. So they're. So they have them listed. So they have 25 conspiracy cards are banned. Just generic
Oh, yeah.
conspiracy. 9 cards that say anti. However many cards were racially insensitive. And then they just have lumped in here sticker and attraction cards are banned. So it probably does more than double the ban list. But they're just like kind of rolled up with a link out.
Mhm.
Kind of like the conspiracy cards.
I forgot about the conspiracy cards.
So did I. But it's a lot. It's a lot. So I don't know. It just feels fine, but it also feels gross.
Yeah, it's weird.
Uh,
Just give it to me straight. You don't have to beat around the bush.
I mean, it is good that they like. This is very much like an admission of like we done goofed. The whole like, yeah, we're not gonna do this again. Don't worry. It's like, oh my gosh, I feel like the genie from Aladdin. They can be taught. It's like, oh my gosh. And then, so on one hand, you think they can be taught, and on the other hand, you have the Pauper Format Committee.
Well, hang on. There's one more thing in Legacy.
Oh, okay. What's the other thing?
They think that the rest of the format's okay.
That's fine. Like, I haven't like. I will say that Phil Gallagher of 3 Renew, I haven't watched. I'm still subscribed. I haven't watched a video in a long time. I watch more. Jim Davis has taken his spot since like he plays Arena and I play Arena, and there's a chance I could maybe play something that I see
as long as Arena doesn't crash.
Arena. Yeah, God, it crashed like I was slacking. It crashed 3 times last night in like 45 minutes and crashed a whole bunch this morning, and I was just like, like I had a game that I was 100% going to win. Yeah. And then it just like froze, and like it's like, you've got to be kidding me. All right, fine, whatever. So, I mean, I can believe that like the rest of Legacy is fine. Like I haven't seen like any discourse about it like being awful.
Yeah, I think they said in the article that they were keeping an eye on Orcish Bowmaster and Grief because I guess they're starting to be problematic, and I can kind of see that. But
yeah, so like. Grief. What is the deck? Is Rescaminator, where like you have more ways that you have reanimate to bring it back.
And Bowmaster's kind of awkward when your format's built on the back of Brainstorm.
Yeah, and like you have this situation where like, at least online reanimation. Like reanimator decks are like overly represented. So like, if you're running into like Grief all the time, it's just like, oh, this sucks. And there's like a blue-black like reanimation Dark Depths deck as well. Not Dark Depths, I'm sorry. Death Shadow deck as well. And it's just like, oh, this is like no fun. Yeah. So in Pauper, they banned all that glitters. And so, in an unrelated thing, people will occasionally ask, talk to Jim Davis on his stream about like, oh hey, like what, like should we ban Vein Ripper because like it's too good, and he's like, the problem is like that's a payoff. You never ban the payoff.
You ban the enabler.
You ban the enabler. So you should ban Fable.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the third card or something that cares about artifacts that they have had to ban since they put the bridges into Pauper. Mm-hmm. And at like some point you just have to go like, hey,
rip the Band-Aid off.
Yeah. Now, I watched part of Gavin's video, and he said that they like talked about the artifact lands, and maybe at some point, if you like keep talking about the same cards over and over and over again, maybe you got to do something. Right. But they're trying to do all that glitters. But like the problem, I think, becomes, so we banned all that glitters. Like, this kind of effect just gets printed all the time.
Does it though? I thought all the glitters was the only one that counted artifacts and enchantments. I thought, aren't normally these just enchantments?
Yeah, but like you have oh gosh. So-and-so's Reign of Truth.
Oh yeah.
Right? Like, no, great, that's an uncommon, and like all that glitters was an uncommon.
And then it got downshifted.
And this is the second card from that downshift that got banned.
Yeah. Because
they banned Swift Spear out of that downshift as well. But like you have, right, there's gonna be another card that they're going to print that's gonna, be some like, there'll be some gold set, and there'll be like, that has a blue-white artifacts theme, and they'll have like a 1 blue-white star flyer that counts the number of artifacts you have, and then like that'll be a problem. Right? Like, I think that the format was able to support the regular one color artifact lands, but not those plus the bridges. Right? You could ban either one and probably be okay. But having like both in the format,
too much.
Where like your whole mana base can just be artifacts, is just too much, and the format can't like absorb it. But yeah, I don't know why they haven't like just kind of gone like, you know what,
it was a mistake.
This is,
let's hit that undo
we shouldn't have done this.
Control Z.
Yeah, Control Z. Yeah, I don't know why they haven't done it. Like, I don't play pop, but like, it just seems like they keep banning around the problem.
I mean, it's not the first time they've banned around the problem, though.
I was going to use Hogak as the example. Right? Like, what if we ban Bridge from Below? Yeah, it's not. That's not the problem. Right. It's like, no. You know what the problem is. Just ban the problem. And they're like, nah.
So no changes to any other format. They said in Modern, banning Violent Outburst took the Cascade deck's win percentage down to a reasonable level. They don't see any outliers. And they want to, and this is something that they also echoed when they talked about Legacy, is they are expecting Modern Horizons to shake the format up. I don't know whether we should be excited or terrified.
I mean, Modern is just a rotating. Modern is standard, but more expensive. Right? Like, where Standard like has changes every time there's a set release. Modern has more changes now with standard set releases than it ever did. Right? Remember, like, I think that the like old metric was like a set like really impacted Modern if like 2 or 3 cards from a given standard set saw like any Modern play. Right? That was a set that was hugely impactful on Modern. And now I would say that like most sets have like a handful of cards that like see some play in Modern. And so the format turns over way faster because of that. And now, like, presumably every 2 years, maybe every 3 years,
you have a forced rotation in the form of injected cards.
Yeah, they're just going to be like, here are all these cards. Like, I don't know, 20 of them are going to, like, see major play in the format.
Yeah.
Right? Like, here are all these invocations.
Mm-hmm.
Here are all these free cards. Right? These are all going to see play in the format. Good luck. And the format kind of warps around those for a few years and they do it again.
Yep.
So, it is kind of difficult to, again, maybe it's old man yells at trees or yells at clouds. Yells at something.
Yell at trees too.
Stay in my lawn.
Keep your leaves off my lawn.
Exactly. Don't fall on my house. But you have this situation where, you know, how long did you play Jund for?
Long time. Years and years and
years. Like Boomer Jund, you played it for like 4 or 5 years? I bounced around like Modern more than you did in terms of decks, but like
I usually had a pet deck at the same, or not a pet deck, but like a meme deck at the same time where it was something that was just fun. But yeah, it was my competitive deck was always Jund.
Mm-hmm. And like there are people that like their deck was like Splinter Twin and was like Splinter Twin for years. Yep. And like, you know, I think like those times have gone, right?
Yeah.
Right, like kind of the longest the deck really kind of stays towards the top is like a year and a half. Because like remember like maybe this time last year, like it was 4-color elementals. Yep. Like that was, and then like the Up the Beanstalk deck got murdered like right after that card came out. It was like the best deck in the format for like 3 weeks. Yep. But like you don't have that like, oh hey, like Humans is the best deck in the format for 2 years or 3 years, or like one of the best decks, right? Like that is gone now. Like it churns way faster. And one of the joys of Modern was like you would like get to like have your deck,
get good at it, practice,
and you had your deck for years, and like, you know, maybe this is just on my mind because I found these cards the other day. Right? Maybe instead of playing Huntmaster of the Fells, they print Pia and Kira Nalar. And like you replace your Huntmaster with a Pia and Kira because it's a better card.
Yeah, your one flex slot you got to change out maybe once a year.
Yeah, there's like, oh, this is a really good 4-drop. I guess I can like replace this. Yeah. But now it's just like, oh, like here's a new archetype defining card. Oh, thank you. So like just a very different kind of form of Modern now, right? Like it's really hard to and Modern decks haven't gotten cheaper.
No, definitely not.
Right? So like it's hard to be like, here's $1,500 for my standard deck or for my Modern deck. Knowing that like
Scam looks like $1,200, and then 5-color Omnath is $1,400.
Is that still towards the top of the metagame?
Looks like 8th.
Okay.
Or 10th. Everything else is cheaper though, around the $800 to $900
well, that's good.
range. $700 to $900 range.
Yeah, but that's still like a pretty penny.
Definitely. Back
Right,
in my
like,
day,
if you look
standard
at-
decks cost that much.
Um,
When every deck was 4 Jace Vryn's Prodigy and fetch lands.
yes. So like some of these decks have like hung around, but like it just feels like there's like more churn
Mm-hmm.
in the decks than there used to be. So it just makes it hard to be like, yep, we're doing this.
Yeah.
Are these stupid synthesizers cheaper yet? No, they are not.
Well, that whole deck said it was $400. How could they not be cheaper? Is the whole rest of the deck
They're
worthless?
those 4 cards, they're $156. They are $34 a piece.
So the deck is
No more than that.
$39
$39 a piece.
synthesizers and 4 Urgas Sagas, and then Draft Chaff.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Holy moly, Mem Knights
And
are $10. Well, $10 for 4 of them, I guess.
Still $250 a pop, yeah.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah, like thought monitors are now $2 50 cents a piece. Like, what the heck?
They caught a reprint though, right? Weren't they in a commander deck or something?
They did. I think so, yeah. But yeah, no, it's just like, yep, this deck is the whole cost of this deck is 2 cards. But
and then no changes in standard.
yeah, I mean,
I think standard's fine. I mean, I haven't played a ton of it.
I've seen enough of it recently that it does seem fine. It is, I don't know, like, I guess this is the result of the
rotation change.
Longer rotation, right? It just feels like it's been the same decks for like such a long time.
Well, yes, that is a function of like the rotation being longer, but also Wizards was really proud of the fact that Thunder Junction cards saw play in a format this large. They gave themselves a real big pat on the back for that one.
Yeah, like, I don't know why. So,
we are happy so far with the impact of Outlaws of Thunder Junction in Standard. As the 12th set in the environment, it faced the biggest uphill battle to get its cards into decks, finishing the cycle of fast lands, and with many individual cards making their way into sideboards and main decks.
Yeah. I mean, so here's another like thing. So they're talking about like, we're not surprised to see an Esper mid-range deck full of independently powerful cards command the highest play rate at the Pro Tour. Part of that, and Jim Davis has talked about this on his stream,
Yeah.
like he tests with Team CFB or whatever. Like, on one hand, it was like kind of cool that like a week-ish after the set came out, like Pro Tour decks were due. Yeah. But you don't have enough time to find the new deck. So it's just like, yeah, meh. Here's the Esper mid-range deck I've been playing for the last like 9 months to a year. And I guess like we'll put in a don't shoot the sheriff or something, right? Like, maybe if they had like an extra week, we would have got like more interesting decks. We wouldn't have had. Yeah, we wouldn't have had just like the same deck that we had, before the format. But like Standard reminds me of like the Cons era Standard,
where it was just like trade binder Standard.
That and like just the like, how long was Abzan good? Some version of Abzan, like
forever,
for a while, right?
The entire length,
forever,
of time.
right? Esper feels like it's just been good forever
since Rafine,
in this
how long
format.
ago was that?
Almost 3 years, right? So it just feels like, such a long time that we've had these same cards. That, like, I guess on one hand they're like, people said it was too expensive, so they wanted like to have their cards be good for longer, which I guess we've accomplished. But from like a perhaps a little bit more invested than casual, but not like, I am no longer a spike.
Yeah.
Right. Just like checking in, it's just like, even like watching content, and it's just like, oh, poor Saffron's going up against No More Lies and Rafine and Deep Cavern Bat. Well, I guess he's not doing the thing. Yeah. Like, it's just like, oh, I just keep seeing the same kind of things over and over and over again. Which, again, was the design or the goal, but it also seems like it was a bad goal to have. So, but yeah, like, once we get rotation, like, Esper midrange will go away. And the Teamer Lands deck will go away. And the combo kill of the white-black Bronco goes away. You saw that, right? Yeah. So yeah. Probably. I can't imagine like why they would make change. And they have here, like, to reiterate some of our philosophy. We intend to only make changes to standard once a year during the summer, unless there is an extremely warping outlier. Watching the metagame closely, leading into the new ban restricted announcement. Why would you make a ban in standard
right before rotation?
2 months before rotation, right? Like, unless something like drastic happens, like, I can't imagine anything happening.
Doesn't make sense.
And like, I don't know, they can't be like, oh, we're just gonna ban Shieldred, because in the interest of competitive diversity, we would like other black 4-drop creatures to be played. It's like, get the
and ditto with Pioneer. No changes to Pioneer.
Yeah, I mean, my experience with Explorer is it's fine. Like, we don't have Lotus Field on Arena, like that deck, but otherwise, yeah, I don't think there's anything that seems like bad in the format. And then, Alchemy, I guess people play that.
I wasn't even going to comment on any of the digital formats, but
well, what I will comment on is, like, Historic. They've not done anything to Historic in like 2 years.
Oh yeah, when was the last time we got an anthology?
It's been a while.
Yeah, a long while.
I feel like they're relying on the bonus sheets to do that work.
I mean, that doesn't make sense, like, though, because the anthologies are just money.
They are.
Like, they're just another way to get money. Whereas, like, the bonus sheets are kind of a freebie. Like,
they are and they're not, right? Like, so, like, the big score stuff, I didn't, like, just took mythic wildcards from people.
Yeah, but
right, like
how much is a mythic wildcard worth, though?
I'm not sure.
Like, an anthology is $20.
Yeah, like, but we haven't had an anthology for a while. They haven't banned anything for a while. It's just kind of like a format that, like, kind of chills.
I don't know that there's really a reason for Historic to exist anymore. Like, people that want that eternal non-rotating format are going to play Timeless.
They are.
And people that don't are going to play Explorer because it's a Pioneer analog. And like doesn't have all the garbage. Like you have to be a very specific kind of person that wants an eternal format with the garbage.
But Timeless has the garbage, but the garbage isn't good enough.
Well, right, yeah.
Except for like Assemble the Team. Which then they've like also printed that card in regular paper. Kind of. What is it? Pillage the Bog?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know who, like, I feel like they're so far in on Alchemy and Historic that they can't, like, pull the plug.
Well, I mean, I don't know if there's ever really a reason to pull the plug. Like, I can't imagine it costs them anything at this point to have it exist in the client.
Yeah, I mean, other than Alchemy, where they're designing
cards, sure.
new cards, right? But, like, Historic, the problem is, like, if you're in... So, I guess this is going to be bad. What is the difference between Historic and Timeless now?
Timeless doesn't have the cards that were banned for power level, so you can play, like, Lightning Bolt and...
Oko and... Yeah, okay. So you can play those.
And it doesn't have power balance.
Rebalances. Yeah. Okay.
Like the stuff that came in off the bonus sheet, like Lightning Bolt,
Brainstorm.
Yeah. Like you can stuff that wasn't legal in Historic. All that stuff is legal in Timeless, and it's with original printings and not the rebalances. So it's like an actual eternal format instead of some curated mess that
weirdness, yeah.
And I mean, I haven't messed around a ton in Timeless, but it seems reasonably popular. Like I see people streaming it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So it can't be awful.
No, like people really liked it when it first came out. Yeah. I think it's running into the problem of right, like you have to. So they in the article they're touting how like Reanimate supports multiple new deck archetypes, and you can get back your Trollicaz of Doom, and like use it with Sorin and Vein Ripper, whatever, right? But you have the issue of like show and tell is like super good in the format, right. And so like if you have show and tell and Reanimate as like two cards that like build and sneak attack, right? Can't you just almost build like sneak and show? I guess you don't have as many cantrips because isn't sneak attacks in the in Timeless?
Yeah, I feel like it was on a bonus sheet.
Yeah, I think it was as well, but I'm not 100% sure. I mean, there is one. It is a Enchanted Tales.
Yeah.
And then legality survey says what? It only says that it's legal in Legacy, Vintage, and Commander. It was an Enchanted Tale. Why isn't it legal in? So apparently it's not legal in.
That's weird.
In Timeless, but basically, which I guess is why.
Yeah.
Those decks are green black, or they're Sultai, but like. If you have show and tell as one of your options, it only makes sense that you have Reanimate, the other like core legacy deck, as like the other like best deck or one of the best decks in the format. All right, one day we'll talk about GPs.
One day, keep pushing it off.
Do you got anything else for this wonderful topic?
No, I think we covered everything. I told you there was a little bit more to talk about than you thought.
Yes, there was. All right. So with all that, I think we got a show. So if you want to reach out to us on social media, Facebook, Discord, Twitter, any of that stuff, check in the description. We'll have all the links there for you.
Yeah, if there's any show ideas you have, topics you want us to cover, hit us up in all of those ways. If you're looking to support the show, there's a couple ways you can do it. The first is with our TCG player affiliate link, CasualTryHard.com/TCG. Surf on the TCG player using that link, and anything you purchase will help to support the show. We would greatly appreciate that. If you want to support us more directly, Patreon.com/CasualTryHardMTG is where you can go for that. Chip in a couple bucks, you get access to our pre-show, you get access to our show notes, and you get our undying gratitude. 2 thumbs up.
2 thumbs up. All right. So with that, we'll catch you on the internet.